From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
From football to field hockey, where to begin? Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Caroline Ralph.
And I'm Ashley Humphrey. Thanks for joining us. I'm thinking we're going to look to the team that hasn't lost yet to start our morning strong. The number one UNC field hockey team looks to stay undefeated as the Heels travel to the West Coast this weekend for a pair of matches against ACC newcomers Stanford and Cal Berkeley. Carolina jumped to the number one spot in the rankings after crushing 11th ranked Liberty in a dominant 7-0 win. The Tar Heels scored 4 times in just the second quarter and would carry that hot streak into the rest of the match, led by a hat trick from junior Riley Heck. The Heels hope to extend their win streak to 7 in their match against Stanford, which is coming off a bad 5-1 loss at UVA. The game is set to start tonight at 8 p.m. After their match against Stanford, Carolina has a short 1-hour drive up to the 20th ranked Cal Berkeley for their next matchup. In their dominant performance against Liberty, the Heels outshot their opponents 25-2 and registered their 4th shutout in a row. The UNC defense will look to keep rolling against Cal, which is coming off a 4-0 victory against UC Davis. That match starts at 3 p.m. on Sunday.
After more than a week off, the field hockey team has an exciting weekend ahead. Let's go over to Sophia's sideline to hear what the women have in store. Sophia?
Against both Stanford and California. Sorry about that, guys. Seems like my mic was not on, but as I was saying, the Heels cannot get complacent as they're coming up on a weekend against Stanford and California. With their 4 past games being shutouts, let's take a look at what the Heels did in this last matchup at Liberty to see how they can keep the fire hot as they move into the weekend. Starting the game off strong is, that's right, you guessed it, the one, the only, Riley Heck. Here we see Heck going for the goal with a slap shot that is unfortunately going to hit that post, but that doesn't stop her. Instead of letting the moment pass, Heck keeps her momentum and immediately recovers. Now with the goalie away from the cage, she has the ability to send that shot straight into the corner of the net. Coach Matson put it best. She's hard to play against because she's so unpredictable. Heck's creativity, quick thinking, and high energy keep any opponent on their toes and makes her an essential puzzle piece to keep the Heels' continued success. With the teamwork and the energy the Heels have been showing so far this season, I feel confident they can fan the flame to keep it going strong. Caroline?
We heard a lot about the Heels' offense. How were they on the defensive end?
Well, Liberty only had 2 shots on goal, both of which goalkeeper Abigail Taylor kept out of the cage. Although our offense is clearly strong, the defensive side of things is essential to creating opportunities for the 25 shots Carolina had last weekend.
I'm excited to see how the women do at Stanford. Thanks, Sophia. The next stop for UNC women's tennis is the ITA Hall of Fame Classic in Williamsburg, Virginia. Last week, sophomores Thea Radman and Tatum Evans qualified for the ITA Championships in November. Radman and Evans both gave impressive performances, beating nationally ranked players, but their runs ended in the semifinals. The Hall of Fame Classic will begin today and continue throughout the weekend.
Many fans call Carolina a women's sports school, largely because of the immense success of programs like field hockey and women's tennis. Shannon Horan tells us there's a new organization looking to empower more female students both on and off the field.
Empowering Women in Sport at Carolina is a new club on campus looking to provide a space for women to receive support navigating the male-dominated sport industry.
I wanted to create a group for women to help them kind of grow personally and professionally, and just help them create connections and kind of go through these challenges, letting them know that they're not alone.
I am hoping that this club will be a place of welcome and encouragement for all the women on campus who are interested in working in the sport industry.
Recently, the club hosted its first guest speaker, Jonae Benson, the Associate Director of Football Recruitment at Duke.
Just continue to get involved in athletics, and so reached out to some folks at UNC Charlotte, really just looking for any opportunity.
Benson provided an inside look at what it's like to work in recruiting for a Power 5 team.
It's really interesting learning about the compliance rules and the different rules that have changed this year versus in previous years, as well as the difference between recruiting at an ACC school versus an SEC school. Furthermore, seeing the support from the Carolina community, especially since recruiting is such a niche area, definitely meant a lot to me, and I know it meant a lot to Jonay as well.
Being involved in athletics, like I said, I really didn't know anything about like recruiting operations till I got out of Carolina, so just asking more questions if you're curious about things. I kind of want to split it up, but
Stay on the lookout for another speaker series happening in October. I am Shannon Haran reporting.
And speaking of empowering women, we could never forget the team known as the most successful collegiate program, women's soccer. And unsurprisingly, it was nothing but net for the Tar Heels at Dorrance Field last night in their matchup against the Louisville Cardinals. Just 6 minutes into play, junior forward Kate Fossey put the Tar Heels on the board with a powerful strike down the middle. Later in the first half, freshman defender Avon Alvarez netted her first career goal off a rebound from Bella Simber's shot. Up 2-0, Fossey struck again with a backheel goal 15 minutes into the second half, assisted by junior defender Tessa Delarose. Graduate midfielder Aria Nagai added to the lead, finding the back of the net for Carolina's fourth goal. Carolina dominated the match, outshooting the Cardinals 19-3. With 7 minutes left to play, senior midfielder Asha Means sealed the win with a penalty kick, securing the Tar Heels shutout against the Cardinals.
I was honestly terrified because my sophomore year, I walked up to the spot and I missed the PK. I hit the crossbar. So at first I was like, I want to take it. And then I already got there and I was like, well, I have to take it. So it was like the best feeling ever. I grew up a Carolina fan. I remember coming to the games and all the camps when I was a kid, and I have like a little checklist of everything I wanted to do here: score, assists, be a captain. And I felt I checked off the last one, so I'm really excited.
And then Asha, Asha's one of our captains as a senior. For her to be able to do that, you could just watch the celebration and you can see. So it wasn't just about the goals, but it's the meaning, a lot of the depth behind it that people don't know about. It's a thanks for all the work that they put in to help us get to where we are.
Yeah.
ACC play continues for the men's soccer team as the Heels take on the Clemson Tigers. Carolina's coming off a narrow comeback victory against Berkeley, spearheaded by goals from Parker O'Farrell and this far strike into the top corner by Ahmed Al-Kwak. UNC outshot Cal 13-7 and will have to keep the offensive momentum up against the Tigers, who just came off a late game loss against Notre Dame. The match will kick off tonight at 7 p.m. On Wednesday night, one-loss Carolina volleyball traveled to Duke to face the Blue Devils. UNC came out hot in the first set with monster kills like this from senior Mabry Schaffmaster, who tallied 10 kills for the night. The Tar Heel defense held Duke to just 16 points in the first set with pickups from UNC's Maddie May. In the second, Sophie Hampton led the Heels with a pair of aces to increase the lead. UNC trailed for almost the entirety of the third set, but luckily for Carolina, Chelsea Thorpe didn't back down. With 6 kills in the third set alone, Thorpe carried the Heels, and her block alongside Jackie Taylor would bring the game to match point. An attack error by Duke cost them the game and gave the Tar Heels a sweep for Carolina's 11th win. Let's go to Passes with Pryor to learn more about how the Heels defeated the Blue Devils.
Ashley, UNC volleyball is off to a stellar start this season with their 11-1 record. The Heels have stepped up from their past seasons, beating teams they lost to just a year ago. What's the difference for the Heels? They have an attack. In the past, we struggled to put balls down. Now we have a versatile front row with strong swings coming from the outside, middle, and right side. Against Duke, the versatility was vital to the Heels' success. Duke put up a great block, but the Heels had so many hitters on fire that block didn't matter. Now let's take a look at some of these swings. This play is going to be out of system, which means that the ball is going to be hit to our setter, Zoe Barrett. Barrett puts the ball high into the middle of the court, which allows Maddie May to get that second ball. Now, when the setter takes the first ball, 99% of the time, the libero is going to take the second. Maddie May makes a smart choice to set our right side, who stays on the outside for this play. We're going to have Mabry on our right side.
Chelsea Thorpe is going to get that ball. She's going to wait for it. She's going to find her swing, and she finds the corner of the court. Now, that was a great play for the Heels, but the Heels also had some great kills from the middle. Hitting from the middle can be very tough. Everything depends on your snap. And right here, Jackie Taylor is going to have a great snap. She's set a 1 ball, which means that she's going to hit it right out of our setter's hands. She uses her thumb to turn the ball down right into the middle of the middle back and our libero, allowing her time to find a hole in Duke's defense. The Heels stepped up against the Devils. They didn't back down to the big block, and they adjusted when they needed to.
Bethany, what do you think has led the Heels to success this season?
The difference is the lineup. Last season, the Heels had Mabry Schaffmaster and Amani Foster on the outside, and Sophie Hampton would make an appearance in only 16 games. This season, Coach Shaw put Foster on the right side. This allows the Heels to utilize all 3 of these attacks. The Heels have been smart with their swings, and they have been playing with confidence.
Let's hope the Heels can keep this up as they face Duke once again tonight at 7. Thanks, Bethany. It's homecoming weekend. Carolina football returns home to host Pitt at noon tomorrow. The Pitt Panthers are coming into the matchup still undefeated, and that isn't the best news for the Heels, who are in a downward spiral of embarrassing losses. If the Heels want any chance of making a comeback, the defense will have to dig its heels into the dirt, while the offense needs to limit turnovers and make smart game-time decisions. Players on both sides of the ball have to be at their very best from kickoff to the last play of the game if they want to get back on a winning track.
On Monday, our soccer teams faced off for Sports Extra's Play of the Week. With 2 prominent goals from Linda Olmark and Ahmad El Kwak, it was a tough call to make, but ultimately it was El Kwak who pulled ahead. El Kwak will get the ball deep in the corner and rifle off a shot from the strangest angle possible, sneaking it past Cal's goaltender, sealing the match 2-1 in favor of the Heels. Make sure you tune in on Monday to see our next 2 Play of the Week candidates. And Sports Extra has one more player we'd like to highlight, but this one is a little different. In just 3 years, Kristen Sermacheski did what most athletes spend their whole lives working toward, making it to the Olympics. So how did this brand new rower find her way to the silver medal winning team at the Paris Games? I spent the morning with her on the boat to find out how she made it happen. Kristen Sermacheski has always dreamed of athletic greatness.
As a kid, I remember having a Post-it note with the Olympic rings on my wall.
Her parents were both professional athletes, and growing up in Canada, Sermacheski quickly found her sport, hockey. She played collegiately at Syracuse all 4 years and ended her hockey career as captain. But that's not where her story ends. Sermacheski came down to Chapel Hill to pursue a master's in sports administration right here at UNC.
My hockey coach made a joke to me at the time at Syracuse and was like, why don't you try rowing if you're done with hockey?
She still had a year of athletic eligibility left, so she tried it.
She right off the bat just had the stuff, like the intangibles. Like, she's incredibly gifted, natural, blessed athlete, but her mindset is fantastic and her attitude is fantastic and her drive. She's the hardest working, most unflappable athlete that I had ever coached at that point.
Senior captain Claudia Quinspa agrees.
She came in as a walk-on my freshman year, so we kind of came in together. I will never forget, we were doing a 30-minute test piece on the erg, and they sat me next to her because they order us by speed. And she started out super, super fast, and I was like, oh, she's not gonna make it through that. And she did, and went way faster, and like, from that moment on, I was like, this girl is gonna do like some amazing things.
Sermacheski was the ACC Newcomer of the Year, and head coach Aaron Nappel knew Sermacheski was ready for more. She called up the Canadian national team and introduced them to her rookie rower. Sermacheski paused her master's program at UNC and returned to Canada to train and become a master of her new sport instead. 2 years later, Sermacheski was invited to serve as a spare for Canada at the Paris Olympics.
If you know a lot about rowing and like how long it takes these people at the Olympics to get to that level, it's a lot longer than 3 years.
But Sermacheski isn't done yet.
Don't get me wrong, I do want it to be different next time. I want to be in the boat when we win a medal, but like I said, I still got that full Olympic experience and I wouldn't change it for anything.
But now, she's back in Chapel Hill, working to uplift the rowing program at UNC as an assistant coach and defy expectations as she chases her unsatiable passion for athletic greatness.
Well, Caroline, I'm definitely rooting for Sir Machowski to make it in the boat in LA in 2028.
Yeah, and you know what? She made it there in only 3 years with a new sport. Actually, if you were trying to make it to the LA Games, what sport would you pick up?
Well, flag football is going to be a new sport in the Olympics in 2028, so maybe I can make the inaugural team. What about you?
I think you would do a great job with that. For me, I've got to go canoeing and kayaking. You know, I would do it a little bit as a kid. I think if I hit the weight room a little more, I'll be smooth sailing on that one.
If anyone can do it, you definitely can, Caroline. As week 4 of fall scrimmages comes to a close, let's take a look at UNC baseball. The Diamond Heels are back in action, this time without superstar hitter Vance Honeycutt. But with the likes of Tyson Bass, Tyler Parks, Mitch Wilson, and Alex Madera, who all had multiple base hits last scrimmage, the Heels should be able to keep the bats rolling. On the pitching side of things, fans are excited to see Jason DeCaro get his arm moving and ready himself for the spring. The Heels take on Walter State this afternoon at the Bosch.
The Carolina softball team faces off against Catawba College to kick off the last weekend of fall ball. Undefeated so far, the Heels are looking to continue their 2-game winning streak. Home runs from starting infielders Rachel Furst and Lindsay Lumsden made the difference from the home plate last weekend. And strong pitching from Nikki Harris and Lily Parrish secured the victory. UNC takes on Barton College and Wingate on Sunday to complete the fall season. UNC offers various group fitness classes, private lessons, and intramural sports. Megan Patton shows us the behind the scenes of what goes into preparing these opportunities for students and how one instructor developed her love for the Carolina fitness community.
Kickboxing, yoga, swimming, and cycling are only a few of the group fitness classes offered by UNC. Isabel Holt started her journey at Carolina by joining exercise classes to meet new people, and then decided to pursue the teaching aspect of the experience.
Barre is a fusion between yoga, Pilates, and strength training with ballet influence. So we focus on high reps with low weights, which I love, and I usually try to choreograph the moves to the music and make sure that everything is on beat. And you can definitely tell that I'm a dancer in my classes because everything is on counts.
Isabel is no stranger to dance classes. Her early experience with choreography and teaching allowed her to grow into a leader with a voice to be heard in her studio.
I started dancing when I was 3. I did mostly ballet, but I've done tap, jazz, contemporary, modern, and precision jazz. I took barre classes my freshman year and fell in love, and I found out about becoming a group fitness instructor and immediately jumped onto that.
Welcome to Barre. My name is Isabel.
My friends would usually describe me as introverted, but ever since I've been at North Carolina, I've been able to have these experiences where I can show a different side of myself.
No experience is required to join UNC's fitness classes. Isabel makes her studio inviting by playing music and guiding students through their workouts.
And up, cross it, 2, back, 2.
Definitely want to teach barre classes in my future, either at like a boutique fitness studio or maybe my own studio one day.
Isabel continues to set the bar high. I'm Megan Patton reporting.
I've taken some classes at the SRC before, but never a barre class.
You know what? Neither have I. Maybe we should get a group together and check it out sometime.
I think that sounds like a great idea. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
We'll be back on Monday with all the highlights from another exciting weekend in Carolina athletics.